Good morning and welcome to what is another morning transfer review. The transfer window really kicking off now. A lot going on and I hope life is treating you well. But we're going to dig into some things that have happened over the last few days and that could kick on over the next few days too. So things to look out for. We're going to talk Celtic, Chelsea, Manchester United. We'll talk Aston Villa as well. And we'll talk about what actually happened with Mason Mount. A lot of stories going about. He obviously is joining Manchester United as well. Let's start with the big news that came out yesterday. Obviously, Mason Mount closer to Manchester United in a deal with £55 million plus £5 million in add-ons. This saga's been rolling on, but as I said before, the £68 million mark was always going to be the point where they would find a solution. If Manchester United get to 60, it was likely that Chelsea would bend and go and accept that. That has obviously happened now, and Mason Mount set to join Manchester United on a new long-term deal. A player that has been at Chelsea since he was about 6 years old. He's been there his whole life. In a very sad situation for both club and Mount. This is not what they wanted to happen. Neither party wanted this to happen, yet here we are. How does that happen? How does a player who loves the club he's at and wants to stay, and how does a club who wants to keep one of their youth academy products, a player that's got the ability to go on and be absolutely superb, let him go? Well, it's quite simple, really. There's been a lot of stuff in the press and a lot of stuff on Twitter and social media platforms about the hatred they have for each other and this breakdown and how much they've argued and fought, etc., etc. And I've never reported that because I've never heard that. My understanding is that it's literally been two parties who couldn't reach an agreement. Chelsea offering around about £200,000 a week to Mason Mount, and he was looking for about £50,000 more a week, which is what Manchester United have put at the table. £250,000 up to £300,000 in bonuses he can earn himself a week at Old Trafford. And Chelsea, quite simply, weren't willing to match that. They have a wage structure in place under the new owners that they'd like to keep to. And they didn't even want to move that for someone like Mason Mount. And it's really as simple as that. The disappointment has come from both sides. And Mason Mount has moved to Manchester United. Now, it's a bit like any job, isn't it? I mean, if you're getting the opportunity elsewhere to earn more, then you can understand it. And it's literally just that situation. There was no more offers after April. April was the last contract offer of that £200,000 from Chelsea. And then from there, it broke down because they realised the agreement was just not going to be reached. Chelsea knew Mount wasn't moving and what he believed he deserved to be paid, and Mount wasn't moving and what Chelsea were willing to pay him. So other than that, since then it's been the two parties that have just not come to an agreement. And Mason Mount, as of yesterday, joined Manchester United in one of the biggest transfers of the window. Another huge deal done was Aston Villa, who have signed Pau Torres for an initial fee of £30 million. With bonus add-ons. An incredible signing for Aston Villa. We exclusively reported on here in April that he was a main target for Unai Emery. Monchi coming in for Sevilla as well has helped get that deal across the line, and he will now join up at Aston Villa. A big deal for Villa. Spanish international centre-back. Certainly a very good signing for the club, and one we should see go on to help Villa push, because they are going to go for it in this window. Look out for Aston Villa. There's more to come from them. They've already brought Yuri Tielemans in from Leicester, remember, and now they've added Pau Torres on top of that as well. And they will add some more firepower too and spend a bit more money. They're certainly not a club that are cash short. They have a lot of money in the bank. They've got wealthy owners, and they're going to make the most of that because they want to push. They want to continue that push to the top four. That is their aim. They're obviously already in Europe after an incredible turnaround under Unai Emery. Took over from Steven Gerrard. The club were in a relegation battle and ended up in the Europa League. So now they're pushing on from that and trying again to get more European football at the next level next season. And to do that, they're going to need quality players, and that is what they are working on doing, including Pau Torres, as I said, who joins from Villarreal on a deal until 2028. Incredible business from Aston Villa and an incredible signing from Unai Emery. Another man who could potentially be on his way to the Premier League is André Onana. Spoken about him a lot. Chelsea have had early and initial conversations with Inter Milan over his potential signing, but it's Manchester United who are starting to push into the lead in that race. The relationship between Onana and Ten Hag from their time at Ajax together is key here and what is pushing that forward in favour of Manchester United. But it all comes down to David De Gea. Is he going to leave Manchester United? It's looking likely now. He has offers from Saudi, he has offers from Europe, and Manchester United and him had this contract agreement, which then Manchester United reneged on, and it's a bit of a mess, to be quite perfectly honest. So Manchester United looking at Onana as a replacement. The relationship with Ten Hag is there. We know that Onana would be keen to join up with Ten Hag again at Manchester United, and that getting closer. So Man United is well in the lead for André Onana at this point. Of course, Chelsea are going to push for Moises Caicedo. Talks are ongoing at this point in time over their key target in central midfield. They believe a deal can be done for around £78 million with 10 million in add-ons, hitting that £80 million mark as the understanding, I should say, Chelsea have where they can reach a deal. All very early, but pushing on and want to get it done. We'll wait and see what happens over the next week. I think if you look over the next week, this is something that should be able to come to a conclusion. Chelsea understand the conditions of the deal. They understand what they need to do. Moises Caicedo has said yes to Chelsea already, agreed personal terms that the club have put across. So Chelsea in a strong position here. They're also clear. There's no one else in this race. They are clear to try and get a deal done for Moises Caicedo, and they're looking to do that. The next 7 days, as I said, will be vital to this. No other players included in the deal, despite some reports. Only a straight cash deal at this point in time. We'll wait and see what happens over the next week. But Brighton want their money for him, and it looks like they are going to get it as well. And Al Ittihad are closing in on Jota from Celtic, probably one of the biggest surprises. The young Portuguese winger, managed by Jorge Mendes at Getafe, who obviously took Ruben Neves from Wolves across to Saudi as well. And Celtic now looking like one of their key men is on the way to personal terms already greenlit verbally by both parties. They're happy with that, and a deal of around £21 million on the verge of completion, which some Celtic fans may not be happy with. Got to remember that Benfica take about 30% of that, which leaves Celtic just under the £16 million mark from him. So they do get a decent profit off of him, but perhaps not the amount that some Celtic fans were looking for. And a bit of a surprise maybe from a lot of people, a guy his age would go to the Saudi League, certainly maybe a European move. But when you look at who is his agent, you look at the connections through the agency, it makes sense. As soon as the story broke and we knew who he was represented by, it already started to make sense. The links were all ready there, and Jota is set to leave Celtic at this point in time. Talks getting advanced now over the £21 million deal for the Portuguese winger. So Celtic fans, how do you feel about that? Are you gutted? Are you happy with the price? Remember that 30% for Benfica as well. Let us know in the comments below. But the window now getting started. I've consistently said about the end of June and beginning of July, and that is us now hitting those times, and you're starting to see those deals happen. Man United again will push for Onana, Chelsea pushing for Caicedo, Mason Mount joins Manchester United, Celtic set to lose Jota, but will strengthen and have good money under Brendan Rodgers to spend for sure. It's going to be a really, really interesting couple of weeks ahead. Make sure you stick around, make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss out. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheerio.